this shared out real quick, guys. Give me a second. We'll take a few minutes. I figure I owe it to you guys to do a caffeine with the stream team. I told you guys we'd be back doing these. Just been a little chaotic. Dog ran off this morning and had to give her a bath because she was rolling around in some crap or something. So, yeah, live. Oops. Bang. Tommy T, what's up, brother? It's your Lions versus my Vikes today, buddy. Is your Goff going to come through? Is Goff going to continue to eat up like he has been? He's one of the top producing quarterbacks through 2 weeks as of right now, which is pretty insane. So let me get the games pulled up. We'll just kind of go game by game. Again, I can't get into DraftKings because they're trying to ban my accounts. I don't think we talked about this last year at the end of the year when it happened. They literally have sent me 1099s because I've won money every year, and they just sent to my address under my name, and they're trying to tell me that the account is owned by somebody completely different who I've never even heard of. So they can't really give me a lot of information on it. So I don't know. So it is what it is. We'll go through Fanduel. I'll kind of give you my plays. We'll just go game by game. We'll run through it really quick. It's not going to take a ton of time. It's not like the Playmaker podcast where we're, going through how the game script went, how everything, delve in. It's just going to be who I like, who I'm looking to play, and we'll kind of go from there, man. How are you? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Hope you're having a great weekend. Went out to the casino for a little bit last night. It was a good time. Pretty much. I mean, I ended up losing I think $100 at the end of the night because we were going to leave and I was even again. I got down almost 300 and I got back. I got to like 500, I think, from the comeback. And then I played down to 300 and then we were going to leave. And then they somehow talked myself into continuing to play. And the old lady's like, it's fine. You can play more. Just let's not be drinking anymore because I had quite a few drinks. So that's what it is. Skull Vikes need this one today. Absolutely, my man. All right, so let's just dive into it. I'm going to save the Vikes-Lions game we'll go with all the noon games first, but I'm going to save that for probably the last noon game we go after because it is one of the higher point totals on this week's slate. There are a couple other ones. But let's just dive right into it. So Baltimore Ravens at the Patriots. Let me get this up here quick. So let's see. All right. So here's where we're at. I've only built one lineup so far. I'm going to be building the rest of the stuff tonight. But here's kind of what I'm looking at. I don't really like a lot in this Baltimore Ravens game. Lamar Jackson's been honestly beasting. I mean, if you look at his numbers so far, just passing even, 38 for 59 attempts, 531 yards through 2 weeks, 6 TDs, 1 interception. He has a 120.1 passer rating, which is just, incredible for a guy who everybody's been talking about him being like a running back, a quarterback, basically the running back for the team. He's obviously showing that he is continuing his progression and his growth as a quarterback for the NFL, and he's starting to put up some yards to prove it. On the opposite side, we got Mac Jones, 42 of 65, 465 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions, 83.2. He's having a absolutely terrible, the New England just in general. I think we talked about this on the Playmaker preseason podcast. We didn't feel they were going to be good, right? We talked about, was this a Tom Brady era when he was with the Patriots, or was this more on Bill Belichick? And I think we're starting to see it. Time will tell, but Brady was probably that main factor there. As a lot of people would probably debate and argue that. So do I mind going someone like Lamar Jackson? No. Do I feel like this could be one of those more defensive games again and maybe come under on 45 on a point total? Absolutely. Could this be like a 17-14 game? I feel like that's kind of what I'm seeing as far as when I game script something like this. Do I like Baltimore's defense? Absolutely. On FanDuel, is it going to cost you? Absolutely. It's going to cost you 5,000. It's going to be top of the cream. I mean, you're just going to have to pay for that if that's what you want. But I feel like with the way New England is struggling right now, that the price tag is right, is correct. I would roll with it. I would run with it. As you see, the one lineup I've kind of messed around with or played with so far, that's kind of where I'm at. The Saints and Panthers, again, a really low point total. I think this, however, could go over. Winston is a guy that Crab Legs is going to be a guy that this season, I feel like there is going to be a week or two where he is absolutely going to go off. You watched it. If you were watching the game last weekend, his attempts and his confidence and his basically no fear ability to shoot the ball down the field, I think is going to come through and pay off. Now, is he going to throw interceptions and throw picks through this whole process like we saw last week? Absolutely. But I feel like Winston can be a guy that, if you play in these higher dollar tournaments, he could be a guy in a week coming in where he's like 4 or 5% owned, and he could have a 4 TD passing day or 5 TD passing day, with 450 yards or 500 yards. He knows how to put it up. He knows how to put the ball through the air. He's nothing new to putting up big yards passing in a season. So could this possibly go over? Yeah, I mean, in Carolina, against Carolina, they're going to do a lot of with Baker Mayfield and CMC and the rest of the crew. They're really going to do a lot of punching the ball, short dump passes to McCaffrey. Again, not a big fan of McCaffrey. I really don't like to play him much at all in fantasy season long or DFS. Now, does it hit me and does it backfire for me? And sometimes, absolutely. I mean, that's the name of the game. You got to take those chances. You got to take those risks. No one to fold them, no one to hold them, no one to play them, no one to sit them. But I'm kind of staying away from this game. Chris Olave, he might be a guy that we can kind of look at a little bit. Let me see what his price tag is again here. Give me a second. Let me pull up his I should be pulling this up anyway so you guys can see what God, this shit's being so goofy. All right, so let's just pull this up here and let's see where he's at. Fanduel is just being so dumb. All right, so we go receivers. So Michael Thomas is starting to get up there in price, 7,300, but you see he is getting a target share back. 5,900 for Landry. See Chris Olave at 5,500. He's kind of interesting to me. He's starting to get more acquainted into the offense. So that's a guy that I would look at. That's a guy that I'd be shooting for personally if I'm looking for kind of a cheaper receiver player punt play. On the Carolina side, it's really not. I mean, DJ Moore at 6,400, he can always put up a 2 TD game. Robbie Anderson had a great week 1. He didn't do anything last week. We saw that. There's a lot of different ways or options, but I don't really like a lot of this, especially with that low point total. Now, another game we're going to see here is Houston at Chicago. Again, I mean, Justin Fields, he just doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to, right? So you're really relying on his rush ability. You're really relying on him getting you some rushing TDs, and that's kind of it. I mean, he might get you a TD pass, but it's not going to be anything pretty, I don't think. It is in Chicago. I'm not sure what the weather is over in Illinois today, but Chicago area, but 38 point total. Bears favored by 3. Now, Davis Mills, possibly. You could, if you wanted to go somewhere on a cheaper quarterback play, if you wanted to do somebody in the likes of Nico Collins, man, he's just been quiet so far this year, but I feel like he is a guy that could show up. Chris Moore is somebody that shows up like once a week, and when he does, or once 1 week out of every season, and when he does, he gets in the end zone a time or two, and he's usually that punt play that's super low owned. Again, nothing that I'm really screaming at, nothing that I'm saying, hey, go play it, go shoot it. You should do this or do that. I'm just letting you guys know. Waller should eat again. Yeah, Waller should eat. What's up, man? Put Waller on the squad. He's going to go over 100. Hey, he's calling it. Jay, what up, brother? How you doing, man? My man, Guns in the building. Yeah. Okay. Well, just stay inside for now, okay? I'll be off in a minute. All right. Sorry guys. Got a weird like just creeper dude that like stares at kids and stuff. It's just super weird. Anyway, next game is going to be Chiefs at Indy. This is going to be a higher point total again, one of the higher ones on the board, 51 point total -5. Obviously your Patty Mahomes, your Travis Kelsey's, if you're going to pay up and you're not going to pay up for somebody like Waller, Kelsey's going to be that guy there. He's going to be that dude. Let me pull up the screen here. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm still using my laptop, so I got to go back and forth between all these. It's on one screen. It makes it a little difficult. So KC and Indy. All right. So running back wise, Jonathan Taylor against Kansas City's run defense, I don't see him having any problem. He was quiet last week. I'm sure he bounces back. You're going to pay that price tag, though. $9,400 is not going to be cheap. So you're going to pay for him. You're going to want to make sure that he is heavily involved in this game, which he should be. And then CEH, 7,300. Against Indy's D, I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a normal Patty Mahomes type game where he's going to be heavily involved in the pass game as normal. You got the likes of Juju at 6,100. We got Hardman at 5,800. MVS, who really hasn't done anything yet. Is he going to show up one of these weeks? Possibly sitting there at 5,600. And then we talked about Travis Kelce, $7,800. Moali Cox, Granson on the Indy side. No, thank you. Not really a fan. Not really looking at either one. But if you're going to play Mahomes is a guy. He's Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Those are going to be your quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts actually even will be a guy as well that you can play, and you can play naked, meaning you don't have to stack him with anybody, like any receivers. You can just play him straight up. You don't need to have like a Diggs or a Gabe Davis or a Knox or, A.J. Brown. It could help, but they're going to spread the ball out a lot. They're going to also have that run upside. They're going to have that rush upside. So you got to keep that in mind as well. That's partially why you can play it that way. All right. Philadelphia Eagles at Commanders, 47.5. This is Eagles are favored by 6. I do like Hurts. Again, I do like Wentz. I think this game, as much as I feel like it can come under quite a bit, I feel like this could end up being some type of shootout. So let's look at the price tags. Hurts is at 8,100. Wentz is at 7,500. Wentz has been an absolute monster. I played him a lot last week. He did all right. He didn't do what I thought he would. He started off really, really quiet, really, really slow. But this dude, he's got 7 TD passes already through 2 weeks. So that's a guy again that's probably going to show some lower ownership. You're going to probably get him at under 10% basically. So if that's something you want to look at, or if you want to go on the Hurts side, do it, man. Stack it up. Goaterts, you can stack it up with Goaterts, with Philly, AJ Brown. You could do what I like to do and do quarterbacks. So you could either go Hurts or Wentz, and then you could go opposite and like stack in like 2 receivers. Like because if it's going to be a shootout, right? If it's going to be a high scoring game, a passing game, there's going to be a lot involved on both ends. And everybody's always going to try to stack. If they're going to game stack, they're going to stack the quarterback with probably 2, like a tight end, a receiver, or 2 receivers or whatever, or maybe even a running back and a tight end, or if they're a heavy receiving one. Got to make sure that running back correlates. So there has to be correlation. Otherwise, you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot. We go here. All right. So another game that this one, I think a lot of people are going to be after. This will be probably one of the heavier ownership games. will be Buffalo at Miami. Tua just coming off a monster game, probably one of the better games we may even see this season from any quarterback, even though we're only going into week 3. But Josh Allen is that dude. We already know it. We've seen it. He's consistent. He's not a guy that's going to just give you like 9 points one week. It's not going to happen. He's going to go out there. He's going to get himself heavily involved. He's going to get in shootouts. He's going to give you that rush upside. So that $9,000 price tag is going to be well worth it. I would be all over Allen. Again, he's a guy you can play naked. You don't have to play with the likes of Diggs. If Diggs has another 2-3D touchdown game, though, and you're stacked with him, you're going to be sitting a lot better than you are, say, the guy that just has Allen, right? Because if he gets that 3 TD game like he did last week, not saying he will, that's going to push you up quite a bit in your tournaments. Now, on the Miami side, Tua, where's he at? He's at 7,300, so he's going up a super tough defense. So, I mean, Buffalo is ranked the top defense. They got it together. Vegas thinks that, Miami's going to be able to put up points against them, though. It's only a 4.5 point favor in Vegas. So Tua's going to get it done. It's not going to be in a run game. The most run that'll probably be involved will be Tua scrambling, hopefully gaining some yards here or there to keep this game close or keep it in a shootout. So if you go that route, I don't really like the backs on either side of this, to be honest with you. I don't like Singletary. I don't like Edmonds, Mozart, Moss, Cook. I don't like any of those guys. But obviously, we like those quarterbacks. Tyreek Hill, he's always gonna make plays. He's always gonna get something done. He's gonna find ways to get open. We talk about him a lot. We said when he left KC, there's not gonna be another Tyreek Hill that's gonna be you're gonna see that's like him probably in another 10 years. I mean, it's hard to say, but just not a guy that's gonna come out like that. Diggs, just a monster. He's averaging 30.5 Fanduel fantasy points so far right now through 2 weeks. Now, it's only 2 weeks. I get it. But, man, Hill and Waddle, I mean, if you could somehow find this would be an interesting concept. It would cost you a lot of money, but this would be an interesting play, and this is something that I might look at doing. Be doing something like a Josh Allen and then playing Hill and Waddle. And you go, why wouldn't you play Tua? And you could play Tua, right? A lot of people are. But that's what a lot of the guys are going to do. That's what a lot of guys are going to play. So if you switch it and you take the 2 top Miami receivers, but then you pair them with Josh Allen, who gives you that monster upside both on the rush side and the pass side. Now you're in a whole different realm. You're going to get that leverage on the rest of the field in the tournaments you're in, because most people aren't going to be looking that way. Maybe you throw in somebody like Gabe Davis, like one receiver. Is Knox playing? He was still questionable. Looks like he's going to play. So you could do something like the likes of Knox as well, right? You could throw Knox in there. So just some ideas for you guys to play differently, to get creative. And that's really ultimately what you got to do in these tournaments. I mean, that's how you're going to figure out a way. That's how you're going to come through and win, or you're going to win some kind of money. All right. Cincy at the Jets. This is a 42.5 point total. Bengals are only apparently favored by 4. I think they win by more than that. But again, sometimes the Jets, with some of these teams, they get into a little bit better game, especially at home, even though their team is just crap. Is Joey Flacco going to show up again? I mean, it's hard to say. He had a great week last week. He came back to give him the win, but I don't know. I don't see it. I kind of felt like Flacco was going to struggle. He's always going to give you that game or two, and he's going to make it tough. Luckily, Zach Wilson is he's out with that knee, but he could easily have just a terrible game this week. And if Wilson was ready to go, they could already be having talks of, there's when are we going to put Wilson back in? When are we going to play Wilson? And I just feel like that's what's going to happen whenever Wilson's going to be able to be back from his knee or be back to play. Jet side, I'm not going to play Burrow. I'm not going to play Flacco. I'm not going to play Chase. Garrett Wilson's interesting at 6,100. He started kind of showing up last week. If Flacco's going to be playing, it kind of looks like Flacco is really a fan of him. Built some trust in him. So you can look there at 6,100. Tight end. Nothing really. Not a fan. So, all right, Raiders and Titans. Jimmy's gonna love this game if Jimmy's still in here. They are in Tennessee. Got a 45-point total. A lot of people are screaming Waller. Waller at 6,400 is very cheap. I mean, he's normally week in and week out. His price tag is normally like 7 or 73. There'll be times where we'll probably see him at 7,800 this year once he starts picking it up a little bit more. So you can go there. You can obviously go with, and with Renfro out, that's going to help a lot. Devontae Adams is going to eat every week. He's going to find ways. He's going to get his 10, 12 targets. He's going to haul in probably 9, 8, 9, 10 at least. So you can look there. I'm trying to see who's going to benefit. So Mac Hollins with Renfro out. Mac Hollins would be Mac Hollins, Keelan Cole. I don't think Zoop or any of these other guys. So what would be interesting too, with besides Waller, is somebody like a Mac Hollins. At 5,300, I think there's other places I'd rather go at that price tag if you're looking for a punt play. But he could be a guy that easily finds the end zone this week, guys. I mean, it could be something. Could be something that happens. So keep that in mind. And then on the Tennessee side, I mean, obviously Derrick Henry, you're going to pay big price tag for him. Josh Jacobs, 6,500, little interesting. Tannehill, no thanks at 7,200. Derek Carr, every week he's going to be an interesting play for me. I don't mind plugging him in. I don't mind playing him. So at $7,100, I don't mind if you go there. Honestly, I kind of like that because I don't think a lot of people are going to be looking to it just because of the point total, right? The point total is lower, so guys are going to be kind of shying off that. Buffalo has 4 starters out on defense. Yeah, I still myself. What's up, Paul? I still don't think that. I don't know. I still think that Buffalo's still gonna get the win. Like I said, I think it could become a shootout though. That's why I like a Josh Allen and a Waddle. What's his face? A Waddle and a Tyreek Hill. If you can make it work, it's not gonna be cheap though. It's gonna cost you. All right, so last noon game, which I was going to say for last, is Lions at Vikings, 51.5, favorite 6.5. Man, Goff, like, what's up? Goff's showing up, man. Goff's like, guys, I still here. I'm still playing in the NFL. What's his price tag at this week? Let's see. So he's at $7,100. I mean, he's had a great start. He's like in the top 4 or 5 through 2 weeks. I know it's only 2 weeks, but this is a guy in DFS wise people may want to start looking at. Again, Minnesota's defense hasn't looked so great so far this season. They like to give up those deep balls. You're seeing receivers open. I'm not sure what's going on there. I think Dantzler is the only guy on the Minnesota defense right now that's even worth a crap that's actually showing up and playing. So I don't mind Goff. Like, I'm kind of a fan, even though I'm a Vikings fan. I think Vikings will pull this off at home, but I feel like this could go over that 51.5, honestly. So who do I like to pair him with? Amon-Ra St. Brown. Swift is so heavily active in the pass game that you could go that route as well. So you could play Swift, or you could do Goff, and then you could do, like I talked about before, you could do like a Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, or a Jefferson and Irv Smith, right? Dalvin Cook should be way heavily more acclimated in the just the total offense this week. I feel like he's going to have, I think the numbers on like Underdog and Prize Picks and all that is like 9.5 receiving yards. I feel like he's going to go over that. I feel like he's going to probably have like a 40, 50 receiving yard game, and they're going to get him like 10, 12 touches on the ground. So another thing to think about there. Kirk Cousins, you can always try to look there. I'm sure he's going to bounce back this week. I don't feel like the regression or the decline from last week is going to continue to go in the wrong direction. I feel like he bounces back. I think he has a fine week. All right, so let's get on to the 3 o'clock games. We got Jacksonville at the Chargers. The Jaguars having a big big win last week. 42.5 point total. The Chargers are favored by 3.5. We still have Keenan Allen out. Every single week, I'm going to be a fan of Justin Herbert. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care what the game is. This is a low point total. Again, these are the types of games, though, where when Vegas is screaming a certain point total and it's low and it's one of the lower ones on the board, and you have some of the weapons, the offensive weapons that they still have, even with Keenan Allen out, like Mike Williams, he's just too big. He's hard to cover. If Herbert's getting him the ball and throwing it properly, Williams should easily have 10 catches every week, especially with Allen out, and, put up 130, 140 yards and get in the end zone once or twice. I talked about it preseason. I felt like Herbert having a push for MVP. I felt like Mike Williams would take that leap this year and kind of be that guy and maybe even outproduce Allen. Now, it's going to be hard to compare that with Allen being out, but I felt like if Allen was still playing, even though Allen was the one shining like through week 1, I feel like Williams would end up being that dude. Now, do I like anybody like Trevor Lawrence? No. Christian Kirk is interesting. Eckler is always an interesting play as well. But Kirk is, he's got 2 TDs already, 195 yards. He's had 12 receptions off 18 targets. So, that's somewhere you could go if you want to play back. So you want to do like Herbert, Williams, Gerald Everett at tight end is another interesting play for the Chargers. So look there if you want to go. Falcons at Seahawks. I really like Kyle Pitts this week. He hasn't done anything yet. I don't feel like this is going to continue, right? We talked about Marcus Mariota. He's not a deep pass threat. He's not, he's a mobile quarterback that likes to get out. He likes to dump short passes. He's kind of a clock management type guy. He might get the rushing touchdown or 2 here. I'm not saying I like to play him. I'm not saying I like him in that regard. I'm saying that I brought this up before. The last 3 times that Mariota's been an actual starter for us throughout the majority of a season in the NFL, his tight end has ranked like 5 or like 3, 5, and 7 or something those 3 years at the end of the season. So he loves his tight ends. He loves to get his tight ends involved. Again, we're talking about a guy who has so much upside ability at 5,600 in tournaments. I just feel like this is a free play. I feel like this is a free square. If I'm locking in my lineups, and maybe this is a week where you go to try to be different too with tournaments, you try to go 2 tight ends, right? So you guys really like Waller this week, which I agree with. So you could go Waller or Pitts, right? You could use your flex spot for either Pitts or Waller. And they're both underpriced. The value on them is ridiculous. So I almost kind of like a Pitts and a Waller, a double tight end stack this week, utilizing that flex. On the Seattle side, and then Patterson continues to beast out. Metcalf, he's going to get those red zone targets. Lockett's going to be that deep threat. Can Geno Smith make it happen? He's 47 for 58. He's throwing the ball a lot. He's thrown it almost 60 times. He's only got 392 yards in 2 weeks, 2 TDs, and his rating's 99.1. So, am I a big fan there? Not really. Rams, Cardinals, 3.5 point favor for the Rams in Arizona. Kyler Murray getting it done last week. The whole OT dealio. Man, I just Stafford. What's he going to do? What Stafford are we going to get this week? I know Tom T just loves it when we talk about Matthew Stafford, but what is he going to do? Is Allen Robinson gonna start getting some things done here? What is Robinson's price tag? That's something to look at. So it's 6,000. Cooper Kupp, our Mr. Triple Crown receiving NFL receiver last year, he continues to eat. I mean, he's averaging almost 26 fantasy points. Again, you're going to pay $9,800. He's the most expensive player on the slate for a good reason. He's shown that through 2 weeks, he's the best fantasy producer in the offense, on any offense. So Arizona, you can look at the likes of Hollywood Brown. You have this guy too, this Dortch. He's $5,100. He had 13 points last week. Yeah, just under 10 points the week before. So that's another guy you could possibly look at there. And then the last game to wrap it up is going to be the Green Bay Packers at Tampa Bay Bucks. 42-point total again. I feel like this is going to be a heavy Tampa defensive game. So again, you could go to someone like Tampa Bay, Tampa's defense. They're going to be at home. I think they're just I don't know. Is this a game where Aaron Rodgers just comes out and like shows us the old Aaron Rodgers with all these young receivers that he has that he's having a hard time trusting catching the ball? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I think Tampa easily wins this. I think this game does. I think it's a Tom Brady clock managed control game once they take the lead. I think second half, they're up by a touchdown or two, and they're just kind of pounding the ball, and Brady's just doing what he does to kill the clock and end the game. And you have another one of those lighter Tom Brady performances where he doesn't really have to do a lot besides manage the clock and get them a win and get them out of there. So let's do some real quick. So let's try a build real quick. So let's go Josh Allen. Let's go, like we were talking, let's do a Hill and a Waddle. Boy, this is acting slow. I hate this laptop crap. And let's do the double stack tight end that we talked about. So let's do Waller. Let's do Pitts. Okay. Let's see. It's going to make it tough. All right. So we're going to have to pay down at our defense here, guys. So Jacksonville, New England at Baltimore, Seattle at Atlanta, Raiders, Tennessee, Commanders at Philly, Dolphins, Colts at KC. Let's see who we can find for any cheap running backs that you guys like. This is going to make it really tough because we're basically just under $5,800. Dobbins is making his season debut today at $6,000. That's interesting. It's a tough defense, but Dobbins might be a guy to look at. Pierce and Hines. Yeah, Herbert was back at practice on Thursday? He's playing. Yeah, Pierce, he hasn't done a lot though. But maybe this is his week. Let's see. The price tag dropping too? 5,800 against Chicago. Okay. What about let's see, who do we got for a receiver that's cheap? Robinson 6,000. Olave 5,500. Romeo Dobbs. Here's Dortch. We got Dortch. Maybe we plug in Dortch. All right. So now let's see if we do defense. We could pay down at defense. Let's just go Buxty. That'll give us 7,500. I don't mind Gibson this week in Philly. Let's do this. Let's see what this looks like. So I give us 800. Could just leave some money on the board. Could leave 500 on the board. Or let's see, receiver, $5,600 or somewhere around there, 55. And again, you don't have to spend all your money. Leaving some money on the table makes your lineup unique versus other people. That's another thing I always talk about. So you could take Olave over somebody like Olave over Dortch, maybe. You guys tell me what you think. Pyramid Chief should be Brady. Oh, we got Beasley. Beasley's in Tampa Bay. What's his price tag? I keep forgetting about Mr. Beasley. I love Beasley, dude. And he's gonna be like that Antonio Brown-esque. So let's see, running back. I know I really said I like Tampa's defense, but I love Aaron Jones. I love Aaron Jones's how involved he is in Green Bay's offense. So the question is, and he's going to be lower owned. Question is, do you do something like this? With that double tight end? I really love the Waller. I love the Waller-Pitts tight end. Yeah, JK is interesting. So we don't want to do Beasley. You said Perriman? What's Perriman's price tag? Expected to play. All right, we'll do him. Then we got a little game. We got Jones and Perriman. That uses up all the salary, guys. So we got Jones, Pierce. Although Dobbins is interesting too. Do we play Dobbins over Jones? You like Aguilar? People don't think like Hines. I mean, because yeah, I don't like Hines either. Swift is too costly. Yes, I agree. What do you guys think? What are you guys' thoughts? Well, if we go Fournette, then I don't really want to play. I like Fournette too, but if we go Fournette, I do not want to play Perriman. I really don't want them both in there. He's 7,200. So if we go, like Aaron Jones was literally lining up as a wideout even last week. Like he is so involved in that offense. I know it's a tough defense. I know it's one of the tougher defenses out there, but my God, he is just so involved. Like it's insane. Dortch, Pringle. So you do something like this. Again, our flex we have as the late game. What do you guys think? J.K. Dobbins? So we could go. Let's see. Well, if we did this, we could go. I just feel like Aaron Jones is going to be so low owned. I mean, you got Kamara too. I just feel like leverage wise. Maybe I don't want to also have to use Jones. Yeah, I know, and they put him a wideout. You know what I mean? Yeah, I love Jones. I hate Kamara. I mean, not hates a bad word, but I'm not a Kamara fan. Like he's a great player. I don't like playing him in fantasy. It's just too up and down, too inconsistent. So, all right, what do you guys think? You guys like this? I actually really like this. So we got Allen with Hill and Waddle going different because people are going to be Tua. If they're doubling up Waddle and Hill, they're going to be playing Tua, which isn't a bad play. But we're playing it opposite, and Allen is giving us the same ability Tua is, with maybe just a little bit more upside, in my opinion. Waller Pitts, like we talked about the double tight end, which a lot of people don't like to play. So we're taking a lot of different unique angles in this construction right here. And this is, I think, an angle I'm going to continue to take week in and week out, where I play the quarterback, and if I can double up like two good receivers on the opposite side of the ball, and maybe not even play it with one of the top quarterbacks that has the upside with the rush side, so you don't have to worry about playing a positional player like a receiver with them or a tight end, and then the dual tight end where it makes sense or where it works, right? I mean, I think that is pretty unique. Yeah, Gabe Davis. Yeah. Yeah, we'll run it. We'll see what happens, guys. I got to get the rest of my stuff set here, guys. I just want to hang out for a little bit. We've been on for about 40 minutes. I appreciate you all popping in and saying what's up for sure. Means the world to me. I hope this will help you guys out. If you guys have any questions or anything, you can hit me up in the DMs quick or whatever. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions, whatever you might have. So, but other than that, should be good to roll, guys. Got anything else for me? Anything else for your boy? Good luck, you guys, in your season longs. Good luck in all your fantasies, your bets, whatever you got going on. Let's win some bread this week. And until next time, guys, I appreciate y'all, man. Have an awesome day. Peace out.